Guys, have any of you seen the voter registration numbers that the Malawi Electoral Commission has released recently? People are saying that there's a lot of foul play going on and the numbers are not making sense. Only 65.7% of eligible voters registered. This is down from 80% in 2019 and 93.2% in 2014. I am personally shocked by this because based on all the noise and online commentary that we see, people have been vocal about two things: making sure that they keep MCP and Chakwera in power, or coming out to vote to get rid of the MCP government. No matter which side of argument you support, we all know that the stakes are higher for the Malawi Presidential Elections come September 2025. So, what does this mean for the presidential race? In this video, we break down voter registration data, regional dynamics, the impact of smaller parties like PP, AFORD, and PDP, and why the choice of a vice president could make or break the election for some candidates. Alright, let's dive in. My name is Brandon, and this is M-Dubz Report. Mwadzuka bwanji, mwaswera bwanji, madzulo abwino. I'm going to cover the issues that came up last year regarding voter fraud using national IDs and the inability of the National Registration Bureau to flag duplication. MEC's response to calls to extend the voter registration process, the official figures, and the impact of those figures on regional strongholds and party power plays. First off, I would like to ask if any of you were able to register to vote. If you did, please let us know in the comment section how the process of enrollment was. There's a lot of talk about how difficult the process was for many. Some of you may remember the scandal involving the individual named Loti Magombo, who reportedly managed to acquire 2 national IDs from the National Registration Bureau, NRB. The issue has sparked outrage and scrutiny of the NRB system, which they claim is designed to prevent duplicate registrations, but it failed to flag the issue. Obviously, that immediately highlights a major issue. Are there people who could vote twice? Were the officials aware of this? Is something criminal going on in the background? What has MEC done to identify and eliminate duplicates? So many questions. This is one of the many technical issues that have plagued the voter registration process. Here are more technical failures and delays that have raised concerns on whether the Malawi Electoral Commission is efficient and prepared enough for the upcoming Malawi Presidential Elections. At the basic level, there was a lack of public awareness campaigns on where and how to register. So many citizens were not informed about the voter registration process and requirements. For some who were aware and willing to register, there was an absence of lack of NRB staff and equipment in many registration centers, which prevented citizens from acquiring national IDs needed for voter registration. The reliance of national IDs as the only proof of eligibility for voter registration has been a big issue. Even if you had your international passport or original birth certificate, you would not have been eligible to vote. Thousands of eligible voters who have not been able to obtain or renew their IDs are excluded from the process. All the administrative and bureaucratic issues are major obstacles or barriers for large portions of the electorate who may want to exercise their civic duty to vote but are unable to.
I don't have all the info, but this feels wrong.
So of course, these complaints were raised by several parties in November 2024. In a joint statement from AFORD, DPP, UDF, and UTM party, the parties collectively called for the resignation of MEC chairperson Justice Annabel Ntalimanja and Chief Elections Officer Andrew Mpesi. They also requested for the termination of the Commission's contract with election technology provider Smartmatic, a delay in voter registration, and a return to manual voting counting. On January 17, 2025, MEC chairperson Justice Annabel Ntalimanja outlined the Commission's plans to ensure that all people that failed to register because they did not get national IDs on time are given opportunity to register as voters. MEC announced dates for supplementary voter registration to address specific technical challenges faced during the initial registration phases. Despite calls from civil society groups and opposition parties to extend the voter registration period, the MEC decided not to extend the second phase of the registration exercise for all. Alright, let's look at the actual official figures and the number of Malawian citizens who will be making a choice of who will lead the country later this year. I won't call out each district, but these are the totals for each region. Do these numbers look alright to you? Let me know what you think in the comments.
It just doesn't feel right.
So what does this all mean politically? Do the numbers mean anything when it comes to the popularity of the political parties? And can we use these figures to predict how the votes will swing? Let's look at each region. The northern region is traditionally a swing region. The north has played a vital role in past elections. It was previously a region where AFORD had a stronghold, because for those that do not know, this is where Chakufa Chihana was from and where the party was founded. But in recent years, voters in that region are leaning towards UTM, and in the last election towards MCP because of the Tonse alliance. Key districts like Mzimba and Karonga still hold influence, though lower registration numbers could weaken their impact. This is a region where MCP remains the dominant party, particularly in Lilongwe, Kasungu, and Dedza. People in this region do not tend to sway and have always voted MCP. High voter registration numbers in this region would solidify MCP's advantage, but the party still needs to boost voter turnout to avoid any shocking results. This region has always been seen as DPP territory, with strongholds and party support in Mulanje, Tiolo, and Palomba. However, internal fractures and the breakaway of a large cohort of voters for PDP under the influence of Kondwani Nkrumah could weaken their grip. This would be the first elections where we see the real impact of that split. So those are the main regions, but let's also keep in mind of other regions like the Eastern region. PP and Joyce Banda still command respect, especially in parts of Eastern region, notably Zomba and Mangochi. In a scenario where PP aligns with a major party like MCP or UTM, it could bring in crucial votes, especially from female voters who have supported Joyce Banda since she was Malawi's first female president. Fun fact, women were the highest registered voters for the upcoming elections, at roughly 57%, whereas male registrations were around 43%. The Eastern region could also be PP's bargaining chip. If coalitions need to be built, even a 5 to 10% swing in key districts could be decisive in a tight race. Before I wrap this up, let's discuss some key points and some wildcards that could have an impact on a tight race. The sharp decline in voter registration, only 65.7% of eligible voters, really raises concerns. You would have expected higher turnouts in urban centers like Blantyre City and Zuzu City. This shows a noticeable drop in confidence in the voter registration process among youth and first-time voters. Key swing districts that the parties and their candidates need to focus on include Nkhotakota, which is known for flipping allegiances between elections, Mchinji, a battleground between MCP and UTM, and Balaka, which has been historically unpredictable. The parties that invest in ground-level mobilization in these districts could possibly swing votes and change people's minds. So what does all this mean for September 2025? APM or Adadi, as many of our subscribers call him, need to repair internal rifts and mobilize his supporters to turn out in the southern region. A VP from the north or central could broaden the party's appeal, or an alliance with a party such as AFORD. UTM has to regain its 2019 momentum, focusing on urban youth and swing districts. Like I said before, Kabambe has to get out there to get grassroots support. A strategic VP choice from the south could also boost numbers. MCP must solidify its central region dominance while forming alliances. PP could be one of them. Their major issue is what we call voter apathy, where people lack confidence in them and the system to even bother to turn out to vote. PP and PDP are unlikely to win on their own. but they can influence the outcome by endorsing major parties or pulling votes in key regions. In these upcoming elections, UDF could play a similar role, either forming an alliance or going for the presidency by themselves. If UDF secures a coalition with DPP or UTM as an example, it could tilt the balance in the eastern region, where MCP's grip is weaker. Picking a vice president with national appeal or aligning with a major party could re-establish UDF as a decisive player. The 2025 elections aren't just about big names, it's about alliances, voter turnout, and who can best read the shifting political winds. Smaller parties, strategic VP choices, and voter mobilization will shape this election more than ever before. So what's your prediction? Could PP, AFORD, or PDP become kingmakers? Will voter apathy hand victory to the most organized party? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. If you approve of our content, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so that you don't miss out on our upcoming content. I've been your host, Brendan, from M-Dubz Report. Zikomo.